Hey everyone, my name is Annette with ASCardDesign. Welcome to my live stream, and if you're watching the replay, welcome. Today we're going to make some cards using 3D embossing folders with cutting dies. I'm going to show you how those work, and I'm going to go right down to the desktop to show you what supplies I'll be using today. We're using these two embossing folders. This one is called Friendly Birds. They're both from Simonsaysstamp. And this one is called Fantastic Florals. Now each one comes with cutting dies, and when I first got these I wasn't quite sure how to use them, but I figured it out, and we are going to make 4 cards using this embossing folder, and each card will be slightly different, and then at the end we'll do a card with the birds. Alright, so let me set this aside. We're going to start with doing our die cutting. So when you use these kind of embossing folders, the first thing you want to do is take the dies and just cut out the shapes with plain cardstock. So let me bring in, let me just get all of these and bring in my die cutting machine. I'm going to try to stay organized because I have a lot to do tonight in this video. So the first thing, like I said, we are going to cut out the shapes. So for this folder, the Fantastic Florals, I want to cut out 2 flower shapes. And I wrote myself some notes so I wouldn't forget where I was and what I was doing. So the first thing I want to do is cut out some flowers. Just going to cut out 2. I just want to show you. I did a lot of pre-cutting before the video, just to save time in the end, since I'm going to be making so many cards. So let's go ahead and cut these out first. And then we'll just set those aside for now. All right, and then we're done with that. Then we'll cut out the birds, and I'm going to cut those out in white because we're going to do some ink blending on those later. So right now, the nice thing about these embossing folders, you don't even have to cut apart the die because the it'll die cut them out separately. So just get them cut. And then carefully with these, because of their little tiny feet, you gotta be careful getting those out of there. Look how delicate their little feet are. Alright. So we'll set those aside. We'll set the dies aside. And then I want to show you on one of the cards we are going to emboss this panel, this like gray slate panel in this folder, but I want to cut the panel down first. And you want to cut the panel first before you run it through your embossing folder, because if you emboss first and then cut out using a die to cut out your shape, you're just going to flatten out your 3D image. So cut it to the shape first, unless you're hand cutting it with a paper trimmer. You want to cut out your shape first using a die, which is what I want to do. So I'm going to use Master Layouts 2, and these are just a set of dies, different shapes, and I'm going to use the stitched die for the panel here. So let's go ahead and get that going through. And I like to turn these on an angle so they go through a little easier. There you have a nice stitched panel using Master Layouts 2. Alright, and then that is ready to go through the embossing folder. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now since we have the machine out. And this one will be with the Fantastic Florals. Now, I want the side of the embossing folder that's raised. There's a dipped side and a raised side. I want the raised side to be underneath my panel. And then with this particular embossing folder, you can see, or maybe you can see, the cardstock is cut shorter than the design. And these two flowers are, oh, let's see if I can even get them in the right position. Yeah. These two flowers are right up here. So it will be okay that they hang over the edge a little bit because there's going to be a matte layer underneath this panel eventually, and then the card base. So this will fall off the edge a little bit, which will look really nice. So first let's go ahead and kind of, I just want to line up my panel where just a little bit of these top two flowers are coming off the edge. All right, that looks good. And then we will run this through. We only need the bottom platform and the top plate because these embossing folders are super thick and you don't want to force them. They'll break in two. I've had it happen. The first time I had one of these, I forced it through my very first 3D embossing folder from simonsaysstamp, and I snapped it in two pieces. So there's what we have now. We have this wonderful raised floral image with a stitched background. So I'm going to set that aside. Now let's go ahead, while we have this out, with the same platform and top plate, we want to now emboss these flowers. So for that, now you want to use the dipped side, not the raised side, and you just want to find how these go in. They'll kind of seat right down in it, and for me, I just kind of like this side, this edge right here is kind of, I don't know if you can see it, kind of has like 3 little points, and so is that, whoops, so is that. Lines up just beautifully, so I know that that's where that goes. Now the other thing I like to do is these can slip when you run them through, and then you'll get double embossing. So what I like to do is just put a little bit of tape on each one of these just so it doesn't move. All right, and then we're going to run those through the machine. Go ahead and take these out carefully, and I am bringing in just a craft pick tool just to get underneath it to lift it gently, and then we'll take the tape off. This is mint tape and it won't peel the cardstock. So there's your embossed flower. All right, so let's go ahead and get this one out. Carefully, carefully, carefully remove the tape. And oops. So you flip it over, and then that's your embossed image. All right, and now we're going to do the same thing for the birds. So let me go ahead and set this aside. And let's get the embossing folder for the birds, and then we're going to go ahead and emboss these little birds. The feet are so delicate, so I'm being very careful. And then again, I want to find the side that's dipped down, which is this side. And you'll have to turn your birds upside down. Or, nope, I'm sorry, take that back. Nope, I was right the first time. Yes, turn them upside down and get them into the right shaped bird. That is the way they go here in the embossing folder. And again, I am going to tape these down. I can just use the same tape. Tape them down real well where they belong. Make sure they're in there. Okay. I am making hopefully 5 cards tonight, but there's a lot of pieces and parts, but a lot of these I've already did ahead of time, just while I was watching TV or just, you know, needed to fill in some time one evening. So, you know, you can do all of the parts ahead of time, all your panels, all your flowers or birds or whatever your folder is. And then when you want to make the card, just sit down and put them all together. That's kind of what I'm going to do tonight. Except I wanted to show you how this is done. And then I'll show you some ink blending. But there's one of the birds. So cute. I'm going to make these little bluebirds. I saw a bluebird not long ago, and it had blue, and it had like orange on it, and like a cream colored belly. It was really, really pretty. So mine might not look exactly like that, but I'm going to do my best to get it pretty close. Pretty close. Okay. I believe we are done with the die cutting, I think. I always say that, and then later I discover I need it again. So I will not put these too far away. I don't need these. All right. Now, I just want to get my folders and my dies out of the way. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, now let's do some ink blending, I think. I want to show you, well, let's do this card first. I wanted to show you the finished card, and then you'll kind of see where I'm going with this. So we're going to make it a little bit different. The panel here is a full-size panel. This one I cut down, as you can see. So I think I like it better cut down. So we'll make the card the same way. It opens the side folding, but I'm going to emboss, heat emboss the flowers, and I got some new lighting, so I have things arranged differently. So I'm trying to find where to angle it, but I think you can see it right there. So we're going to put clear embossing ink on the flowers and then dip them in clear, or we're going to use pigment ink, I'm sorry, and then we're going to use clear embossing powder. Okay, so let's set that aside. And then actually I think I'm going to save let's save the heat embossing for later. Yeah, let's save the heat embossing for later. Let's do some ink blending first. So this next card, I already embossed it with the floral, and I want to go ahead and ink blend on the extra flowers because we're going to pop them up onto that panel. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'm getting out my my grip mat. I'm going to just stick that on my work surface here so I can ink blend on it. It's basically like a rubber stamp, but it'll hold the cardstock in place. Get all these little loose ends off. And for this one, I'm going to use these two colors from Gina K. I want to use Emerald Coast and Blue Lagoon. Okay, those are my two colors. And I'm going to start with the Emerald Coast. So I want to start with my lighter color first. Let me get a blending brush. Just a small blending brush. Oh, this one looks a little dark. Let's pick a new one here. Alright, so we're going to go in with the lighter color. And all I want to do is come up from the bottom of the flower. And I'm trying to make sure my head's not in the way. And I want a lot of white space on here. So I'm just kind of coming up from the bottom and the sides and up just a little bit. I want a real soft look. Okay, that's all I'm going to do. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring in the, what did I say, Blue Lagoon. I think I can go with this other brush. Let me grab a paper towel. I don't know what color was on here. And then I'm just going to tap some off, and then we're going to come up just a little darker in the center, just like that. Why that's not sticking. I think I need to clean this off a bit. Okay. Maybe just soften up the edges a little bit. Okay. And then we are done ink blending those. And then I want to take my panel, all right? I'm just going to set my panel down. And what I did before I put the flowers on is I'm going to be all over in this video. I'm going to put a little bit of ink down on my work surface, and I'm going to grab a little bit of water, put that down, and I'm going to take just a random round brush, and I just want to ink splat a little bit. And I don't want to go too hard or too crazy because I don't want this ink to go everywhere. But I just want to give it a little splatter of color. And let me go ahead and pick that up so you can see. Whoops. There we go. So I just want to give that a little bit of splatter. And let me grab my tidy towel. I just want to give this a wipe down a little bit. And where's my paper towel? We are going to clean that mess up. All right. Okay. Then what we can do is we can go ahead and get our card base. And I'm just going to do white card base, and I'll have all the measurements for my cards and the bases and the mats and the panels, all the supplies in the description below. But we're going to just glue that right onto white. So we're just going to do white on white here. I'm going to pull up this grit mat for a second. And we'll get some GKD Connect Glue, and I'm just going to put glue all around the perimeter. And mostly in the raised areas of this card. All right, and then we'll just get that down. I'm going to save all the greetings for the end because I'm going to show you a really cool technique to cut out small greetings to make that before you die cut them, so they're perfectly die cut. Everything's lined up. I need to pull this in closer to make sure it's level and straight. And then I'm just going to take these two flowers. Again, make sure you know which one goes where. And looks like these go this way. Nope, that's not right. Oh my goodness. Looks like they want to go this way, right? Nope, that definitely goes there, and this goes. You just got to keep turning it. It has to go this way because that's the way the flower's going. That doesn't even look right. Oh my goodness, that definitely goes there. This one, did I emboss the wrong side? No, that is definitely the right side. Maybe it's one of these flowers. For Pete's sake. Oh, you know what? I think I messed this one up. Let's just I'll figure it out later. I'm not going to waste all your time on this. I don't know what happened there, but let's go ahead and just pop this one up. I know for sure this one goes here. There we go. Well, I actually think the one looks good, but it's just so weird that this one isn't lining up. I think what happened is it may have shifted and double embossed. So we'll just leave it at that. Sometimes these things happen and you just have to run with it. I can always go back and fix it later. But for tonight's video, we're gonna leave it like that, and we'll put our greeting over here to balance it out. So let's just call that one done. And let's show another variation. I want to show you that you can actually ink blend on your cardstock. Okay, we can do some ink blending first. And let's put these two away. And let's do these two colors. We're going to mix some colors up. We're going to do Hero Hues Passion Flower and GinaKDesigns Wild Lilac. All right, so let's bring in a purple brush. And we'll start with the lighter color, the Hero Hues. And let's go ahead and do our flowers first. Again, I really don't understand how these are cut differently, but these two are lining up on the sample, so I don't know. I will figure it out later though. So I just want to go ahead and just lightly do some purple here on the outside. Make it nice and soft. And then we'll come in with the Wild Lilac. And I'm tapping off a little bit because Gina K's colors are very saturated and very pretty. So I just want to make sure I go in with a light hand. Okay. And we'll leave it like that. And we're going to set those aside. And then we are going to run the this panel through the embossing folder, but first we want to do some ink blending. So I'm going to take a larger blending brush, and we will get, let's go ahead and set this in my ink stand so it doesn't move all over the place. And we're just going to go ahead and bring in some color. Just soften it up a little bit. I want a lot of white space. Maybe a little bit down here, a little darker. And that's all I'm going to do to it. Okay? Sometimes, you know, less is more. The less you put on, the better it will look in the end. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and die cut this panel. Let me set that aside. And when I say set aside, I mean on the floor. It goes on the floor. And then first we're going to go ahead and die cut this with Master Layouts 2. Alright, so we'll get that out first because we want to cut our panel out first. And I'm just going to crop it just about like that. And I'm not going to tape this down. Just going to lay my top plate on it and it'll hold it in place. And then that's your panel. All right. And then next we will go ahead and run it through the embossing folder that I set aside, aka on the floor. And again, I want the raised panel to be on the bottom. And I'm just going to line this up. So I have a little bit of the flowers on the, coming off the edge. And I'm wondering if, whoops, I'm just going to see. That lines up and that lines up. So this one should be fine. I don't know. I thought maybe I did the other one backwards, but they're both embossed with, you know, they're raised up. I'm not using the deboss side, so I'll let it go. Let it go and move onward, right? Okay. So now we have this. And again, I'm just going to, let me grab my sample and get this out of the way. I want to just put this on to a card base. Again, we're just going to do white. And, you know, we could do a shadow layer. Let me see if I have one already cut. Do I? I don't think I do. I don't think I do, but I want to cut a shadow layer. So let me, this is also, again, Master Layouts 2, and I'm using the other rectangular die that is not stitched. That will be the shadow layer. So let's go ahead and do that. I think this will look nice with a shadow layer. So let's bring this guy back in. All right. And if you're enjoying this video, give me a like. I would love that. And I'd really love it if you subscribe. I'm trying to reach, wanted to reach 600 here soon, but I'm getting there. It's slow, but yeah. I'd love to have you subscribe. I put a video up every Sunday afternoon at 1 p.m. and I try to go live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and those times are Eastern. And, you know, just showing you some techniques, making some cards, trying to find new things to do, but a lot of this stuff is new to me because I haven't been doing this for very long. So, okay, so we have our panel, or our matte layer cut. And let's get that out of the way and put this die back in the package. And then you'll see, I think this is just going to look nicer with a black matte layer. I'll put it over here on the white so you can see it better. All right. So let's go ahead and get that glued. And if you wanted, you could put foam tape on the back of these to pop them up a little bit. I'm not doing that tonight. I feel like there's enough going on that we'll just glue these down. It will be fine. And excuse me, I'm trying to go off to the side so I'm not underneath my overhead camera so you don't get my headshot. And maybe just like that. That looks good. And then we'll go ahead and grab that down. Sorry, my camera shut off. I like the matte layer is what I was saying. Okay, and then this definitely lines up. So let's go ahead and put our foam squares on there. It's really warm. I'm in Central Ohio and it's really warm in my craft room, which is up on the second floor. And I did some research on the, I have a Canon, my overhead camera is a Canon, and they have this built-in mechanism where when they get warm, they shut off. And that has happened. And I think that is what just happened when I lost my camera. So I'm just lining those up where they were, you know, with the flower underneath. And there you have like a nice raised 3D image. Okay. And then we'll finish these later with greeting and maybe some wink of Stella. But for right now, let's move on to the next card. So the next card is, let's go ahead and just dive in. Okay, we're going to dive into this one. So I honestly don't remember if I did, I know I did heat embossing, so I know I did all this. I had the clear, but I think I did white embossing powder. And here I have clear. So let's get the white embossing powder. Oh, that's clear. Hang on. Here, white. And let me get my piece of copy paper that I used to catch the powder. So, alright, that's my sample. So let's go ahead, and what I'm going to do is, I think what I did is I just went straight to the pad, and I apologize, my embossing pad is really messy. And what we're going to do, first of all, I'm going to make sure that these flowers line up, because, yep, they look good. Okay. We can set that aside for now. So what I did is I just went in and, let's get this powder opened. I just laid it down into the embossing ink, and I didn't really even want to get it all over. I just kind of wanted to randomly tap it, and I'm going to need my reverse tweezers and then just dump the white powder on it and tap it off. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and put this away. Just put it right back in the pot. And then, hello everybody, welcome. You guys are just joining into the fun part. We're going to do some heat embossing. Alright, so I dumped the white powder. Oh, and before you turn on your heat tool, make sure you cover the powder, because you don't want it to blow everywhere. So I'm just going to heat this up a little bit. Welcome everybody. There's a lot going on in this video. I'm trying to make 5 cards, but we're prepping everything now, and then we'll put them together. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to see if you can see the powder melt. You see it turning white. I don't know if you can see that on camera. It's really hard. It's really hard because it's so tiny. And anyway, the white powder made it nice and shiny. And this is, you know, the one that's just paper. So, let's go ahead and do the next one. I'm going to try to do it with a little bit less ink. I really want some of the paper to show through. So let's just do that. And see if we can just kind of make it more random. Get a better grip on this thing this time. Yeah, that's better. All right, cap this, heat it up. Melt the powder. Whoop. All right. All right, this looks okay. I mean, I did not want it to be perfectly all over the flower. There we go. I just kind of wanted to give it a little bit of shimmer. All right. So let's go ahead and we're going to put this layer right on top of the card. Let me back out. These cards are very similar right now, just different color variations, but I am going to change it up here with the next one. Just a little bit. Okay, and again, all the card measurements will be in the description. And then we can go ahead and put our foam square on the back of these. These dry real fast. Now coming up next, we're going to do a little stamping and embossing, and then I have some markers that I need to do some coloring. And I wanted to show you that because that's really cool too. So again, we're going to line these up right on top of the matching flower underneath. And just press, and if you don't get it lined up, it's just easy to pop back off and get it on there. And let's see, that goes like that. And there's that card. These would make nice sympathy cards, but I love that shine. Isn't that cool? You guys like that? Isn't that pretty? Okay, moving on. That was, let's see my sample. All right, so we've made 3. Here's the 3 that we've made so far. That was the first one that I still can't figure out why the other flower isn't matching up. I don't know. I think I'm in denial. I'm going to leave it like this. This is the one we just did. Okay. So you can see this one has white background with ink splatter, the same ink that we used for the ink blending. And then this one we did the white cardstock. We did some ink blending and then ran it through the embossing folder and then blended the flowers. So, you know, it's just a variation on that. And then we're going to do one more card with that embossing folder. So we're going to kind of copy this. I'm going to do a different greeting though, but I'm going to show you how I did that butterfly. So just ahead of time, I cut the panel, the stitched panel, the white panel. I cut that, then I embossed it, and I cut a matte layer. Did that ahead of time. And now I'm going to show you how I did the butterflies. I gotta get some of this stuff out of my way here. The butterfly and the dragonfly. So I used this stamp set. This is from simonsaysstamp, and it's called, what is this called? Oh boy. Big Botanicals. Big Botanicals. I can't remember these names. Anyway, this one, I loved the dragonfly and the butterfly. And these images, I did a card not long ago. These stamp so nice. And I have one on my desk. I was just playing around a while ago, but I mean, they're big stamps. They look really nice on front of the card. But we're going to do the dragonfly and the butterfly today. I'm going to show you something really cool with those. Alright, so we have a piece of cardstock in here, and we're just going to lay these down. Lay them down, pick them up. Okay. Actually, let me do that again. I want to lay them down a little bit further apart. Maybe like that. And then we're going to be, hang on a second, we're going to be heat embossing these. So we're going to treat our paper with some anti-static powder. That's just so the embossing powder doesn't get where we don't want it to be, because then when you heat it, it sets, and then you're stuck with it. And then we're going to go ahead and stamp these with GinaK's black Onyx ink. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and give those a stamp. Stamp them up real good. Let me just turn this upside down. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your comments. I'm glad you are enjoying watching these videos. I enjoy making them. And when you have good quality stamps, you get a good impression first try. So these lines, the line art on these stamps is just amazing. There's so much detail. And I'm going to leave, so I've cleaned off my stamp, but I'm leaving it where it is because next I want to stamp over the black ink with embossing ink. Now, you do that double stamping because the embossing powder needs to stick to something in order for it to work. This ink is already dried. These dye inks dry real fast. So the trick is to just go over it again with this sticky embossing ink that takes a little longer to dry. Okay, and then just drop it down. And then we can bring in we're going to use clear embossing powder this time. Make sure it's the clear. And hang on. Let me just wipe the other powder off of that. So we have the clear. I'm going to get that open and ready. And then you just dump the powder. And tap it off. And put the powder away. I made the mistake of blowing powder all over. Alright, now we can bring the heat tool again, and I think you'll be able to see this powder melt a lot easier, because right now it's like grayed out. It'll turn black and shiny, but I want to heat this up first. Alright, I'm going to heat it from underneath. You can see it just transform right before your eyes. Okay. And that's it. And then I did some ahead of time because you want these to cool before you color them. So I did these the other day so they're ready to go. So I will just set these aside and use them another time. Again, when I say set aside, I mean set on the floor. And then we're going to go ahead and do a quick coloring of these. Nothing real fancy. I just have some markers. I don't know the brand. I don't even know where I got them. I've had these for years and I've never used them. But here we are. Now I'm in a craft room and I'm using my markers. These are alcohol markers, but I'm not using those. And oddly enough, these don't have labels on them, so it was probably some cheap set I got. But anyway, I want to make the butterfly look like kind of like a monarch butterfly, and you know, monarch butterflies have black, orange, yellow, and white. I think white. So I'm just going to I think I'm just going to go and, let's see, these have different tips. Let's use a wider tip. Let me bring you in a little closer. Alright, and I want to leave some white space, but I'm just going to kind of go around. I'm kind of just dotting it, really. I mean, I'm no artist, but you know, I'm using the black from the black ink, and then I'm just going to put some of the yellow in. And pretty much he's done. That's my extent of coloring. And then for the dragonfly, I think we'll just go ahead and do, again, I'm just going to put some purple, you know, I'm just going to pretend like he has a pattern going on. And then we'll fill in the rest with this blue. I'm going to not leave much white space on him. I kind of want him to be colorful. Alright. And that's the dragonfly. And they're shiny because they're heat embossed. Okay. So that was super easy. And then we're going to pull out the coordinating dies. So the same stamp set has coordinating dies for these guys. All right. And we'll go ahead and just line these up and tape them down. I need some more tape. We can use the same tape, I think. So I'm going to try not to get my head in the way, but I do need to really, let me just go ahead and pull this down so I can see right on top of it. Okay. There's one. And then just line this up. I'm really just lining up the tail and then making sure everything else is lined up. All right, those two are lined up. I'm going to bring this back in. And I'm going to carefully place them on there so they don't move or shift. And I think they look good still. Say a little prayer. That's my pasta maker. I had pasta tonight for dinner. Just a little bit of, I had some whole wheat pasta. Okay. So, there we have, here, let me get this over here so everything stays together. There we have our two little die cut dragonfly and butterfly. So we're going to just set those aside for right now. And the next thing I wanted to show you is we're going to need this. We are going to need this, so I need to take these stamps off, put them away, clean them off first. Now the next thing I want to show you is a really cool tip if you have like sentiments that are very small and you also have dies that can cut them out, but they're just so tiny and they're hard to line up. There's a trick that I saw other crafters do, and I've done it many times. It works great. So I wanted to show you. I want to show you how that works. So let me just get all of this out. So this stamp set is from GinaKDesigns, and it's called Elegant Thoughts. All right. So, and it comes with coordinating dies. So, what you want to do is, what I did is the coordinating dies, sometimes it's really hard to know, okay, which one goes where, but if you just get a piece of paper, a cardstock, and just die cut all of them out. Just die cut them out. And then you can use this as a template. And you just want to make sure they're going the right way. Which I probably have, I think I have 2 sets, and then I flipped it. So, and then when you die cut your template, you have all the pieces that fall out. So you want to save those. All right. And then you want to just find the ones that match. Okay. And just make sure that's really good and down there. And then you can just put that in. Or actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. First, you want to put the stamp in. All right, so this one is Grateful for You. Just put your stamp right in it. You're gonna have to look down straight to make sure it's in there. Okay. And then let's do this one which is, oh, we'll do Hello Friend. I can see that. Nope, that's not that one. I'm having a time tonight. Let's not do the Hello Friend. Let's do, let's see if Happy Birthday, is that what this one is? Yeah, let's do Happy Birthday. Okay, so then you pick up the stamps. Watch this not work. It works like every time I do it. Then you take the die cut that came out of that piece and you fit it in there and get it right where it belongs. Okay, and then you need the one that says Happy Birthday, which is right here. Okay, make sure that's fit in there. And then all you have to do is ink up your stamp, say a prayer. I don't know if this is gonna work. I think I got everything lined up. Just make sure that they're in there. Looks good. We're gonna do it one more time. As long as they stay in the same spot, you're good. And that one is not stamping very well. I don't think I have anything on the stamp. Let me clean that off. I feel like there might be a piece of fuzz on here or something. Well, we might not use that, but there you go. There you have a perfectly lined up greeting. So it works nice, but I don't know why this is not. It's something with the stamp. It's not the technique, but I could even take a black pen and fill that in. But yeah, that's a really cool technique for the greetings. Okay. So I wanted to show you that, and I have plenty of greetings, so we can go ahead and just get some cards put together because I can show you how to do that and get all this stuff put over here off to the side. Okay. All right, I think we're ready to go ahead and finish that card, and then we're going to do one final card. We're going to make that one with the birds. All right. So this is my guide. And again, we did the panel earlier and the matte layer. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Should I use the butterfly or the dragonfly on this card? You can see the sample with the butterfly. So I could do that again. Or I can try the dragonfly. No shortage of cards. I don't have a shortage of cards, that's for sure. All right, so let's go ahead and put this down. Okay. And we'll put that right there. I think I might put some Stella on this one too. So, what do you think? Dragonfly or butterfly? Or both? The butterfly has to go on this side just because of the way he's positioned. Let's go ahead and, well, let's figure out a greeting. Let's do maybe, I have a bunch of these ahead of time. We could do Hello Friend or Grateful for You. Let's do Hello Friend. All right, dragon. I don't have a dragon. Oh, dragonfly. Okay, we'll do the dragonfly. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and put him, let's see, where do we want to put this guy? if we put the greeting here, we'll pop him in. I kind of like them closer together. I don't like it when things are far apart. This is the dilemma. All right, we're just gonna put them on here. We will put him, let's see, we'll go right like that, I think. And then we'll tuck the hello friend right underneath. That way they're a little bit connected. Just like that. And then I think these flowers just need a little bit of shine. We're going to do the wink of Stella. And I'm just gonna, maybe I will do the, well, the wings already are shiny, so we don't need to put Wink of Stella on them, but let's add some shine to the flowers. There we go. I'm trying to find my lighting. Well, you can kind of see the shimmer. It's really hard. I have, like I said, I have a new light in here and it's not really picking up the shine, but it's there. It's there in person. It looks good. Okay. So that's that. And then we had, see, that was a sample card. I wanted to put some Wink of Stella on this one, so let's just do that right now, and then we'll get to the final card. Okay, let's see if you can see that. There it is. You can see that little shine. Good. Thanks. You can see the shine. And then this little pathetic card, this was the first one with the flower. We don't know why it's not fitting. So I'm going to go ahead and put shine on these flowers. And there you go. So let's go ahead and just finish these. These are just going to be, we're going to put grateful for you. Let's do a birthday wishes here. And many thanks. No, let's do another birthday wishes. It's just, I'm going to pop all of these up. And then we got one final card, and that one will go quick because it's pretty straightforward. It's just, everything's already cut, ready to go. I just want to ink blend the birds and make my bluebirds and get them on a card. So we'll do that right here. Grateful for you. Birthday wishes. One of my brothers has a birthday coming up. Maybe I should give him this floral card. No, I already made him a card. Let's do that right there. Right like that. Birthday wishes. I like how they're just popped up so they have a little bit of dimension to them. Okay. And then this one, we'll just kind of do the same, right in here. Just like that. I think this one might be my favorite. Okay. So let's move on to this last guy right here. That's going to be the sample. I've already cut my panel and my matte layer. I need to run the panel through the embossing folder, which is right here. Sorry about that. I don't know what I did with the birds. Oh, here they are. I knew I already cut the birds out. I don't know if you guys were here earlier, the ones here in the chat, but those were the little die cut birds. We did those first, and then we're going to run this through. So I'm just lining up, again, I want the raised side of the folder underneath this cardstock, and then I just want to make sure like each bird, you know, will be on the cardstock. Just the tails are coming off just a little bit off the panel. And then we got to bring the pasta machine back in. The die cutting machine. And again, we just need the bottom plate. Alright, this shifted, so I could just tape it down, but let's just get it in here and then hold it down. Wow, that one went through a little rough. And there's our bird panel. I gotta figure out my new lights. Okay, so this is going to get glued down to the matte layer. We're going to go ahead and do that right now. Then we're going to do a little bit of ink blending and get these birds on the card. These birds were so easy when I was practicing blending them. I mean, it did not take much at all. I gotta put it over here so I can see the black border. Okay, just eyeballing that. That looks good. And then I want to bring in my mat again, my little grit mat. And let's see what colors. We're going to use all these colors. We're going to use Hero Hues Cornflower. I love the names of these inks. Cornflower is going to be the blue. And then we got Sweet Corn and Butterscotch. Everybody's going to get really hungry now. And Sunkissed Coral. So, we're going to put our little birds down. We're going to do them both at the same time. Just stick them down real well. And then, let's see, we're going to use, get some blending brushes here. Let's see, we need, I think these will do. And then we'll bring our blue one back in again. I need to wipe it down a little bit. Okay, so we're going to start with cornflower. And we're going to put the cornflower on the top of their head and on their tails and wings. Just like that. And we'll just get that blended down. Maybe a little bit darker where there would naturally be a shadow. Okay. Then we're going to do, let's do sweet corn next. And the sweet corn, I'm going to bring up the bottom. And I'm just going to blend it. This is the lighter, and then we're going to layer it so it doesn't look so bright. And then we'll bring in the butterscotch. And that'll just deepen it a little bit. Butterscotch. So someone in the comments was having butterscotch sauce on their ice cream. So I know that sounds really good. When I use these colors sometimes, it just makes me hungry. I mean, the colors revolve around, a lot of the colors revolve around nature, the ocean, or food. So now this Sunkissed coral, I'm just going to go very lightly along the bottom. And that'll just give it like a little red tinge. Okay. And I think I have another color I'm going to pull in. Oh, let's see if I can find it real quick. There it is. Here it is, Gina K's warm cocoa. All right. I'm going to bring in some warm cocoa. And I think I have, I'm going to use this little fine detail blending brush. These are nice for small areas. And I'm going to do the feet in the warm cocoa. Try to cover up some of this orange. Okay, that looks good. All right, so there are our sweet little bluebirds. Okay. All right, let's put this card together, and miraculously this video is coming to an end. Had a little bit of a rough start. Couldn't figure out the first card. That was not the way to start out a video. Okay, so good, this worked out. I have one card panel, or one card base left. So let's get this down. And plop it right there. And then we'll pop these birds up. And you know, if you're watching this on replay or now, you know, and you want to get into card making, you know, just buy simple tools, you know, the basics, and just start playing around. You know, I watched a lot of videos at first because it was really intriguing to me and I really wanted to try it. But, you know, there's just so many products. And just know, you know, you don't need all of it to start off. You just need some basics. And there's a lot of good videos, you know, out there, basic tools to get started. I'm just lining those birds up. And I have this big butterfly I could put on there, but I think that might be too much. Oh, let's see. What do I have here? I want something with a white background. Hello, friend. Oh, I'll do that because the birds are like friends. Since there's two of them. Let's put that right there. I don't think that glue's gonna work. I gotta pop it up. I got to use the foam squares because of all the dimension. Of course, now I have glue on the back of that. Oh boy. I started out with a bang and I'm ending it with a bang. That's not gonna work. Let's get that off of there. See if I can get these backers off without. There we go. Yeah, that's better. That'll stick. Okay. And there's our bird card. Yep. All right. Okay, well, I have a mess over here, but let's bring out all the cards. We finished the card project for tonight. We got the birds, and then we have 4 of the cards using the embossing folder. Oh goodness. Fantastic Florals. Okay. All right, so I want to thank you all for joining. I had a lot of fun making this video, even though this was a mistake. Well, not quite a mistake, but should have had 2 flowers there, but we ended up with 1. I'll finish it later. I'll just die cut it again. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I appreciate it. And again, subscribe if you haven't already. Put a video up every Sunday at 1 p.m. and go live on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Those times are Eastern. And that is all I have. So everyone have a good evening. We'll see you next time.